Hey there, Psycho, heard the news. There's a new podcast made just for you. So if you like psych and pineapples too, then I know you know what to do. Come on down to Santa Barbara town and get ready for Psyched.
Hello and welcome to Psyched, a podcast where we discuss all things Psych, the hit USA TV show. Let's be honest, the best TV show that USA ever made. From hidden pineapples, crazy nicknames, come on son and join me for some fun. If you're a fan of delicious flavor and have heard it both ways, then this is the show for you. My name's Drew, and I'm going to be your guest host today. You can find me on Instagram at LGTP Podcast. I'm the host of the Let Me Get That Podographs, and gotta really thank Keaton for having me on this show as a guest host, and I'll be running down a couple of the episodes every single season with you guys. And for my first episode, I wanted to start with one of my favorites from Season 1, as today we're talking about Season 1, Episode 3, Speak Now or Forever Hold Your Peace. Now, this was, a lot of people, at least when I was reading the reviews, a lot of people did not like this episode that much. They thought it was one of the weaker ones of Season 1. I am completely the opposite. I think it's one of my favorites. I absolutely loved this episode. Thought it was hilarious. If you're unfamiliar with it, this is the one where, I believe it's the Attorney General or whatever funny nickname they choose to give the man. His daughter's getting married, and at the wedding, of course, the ring goes missing, and it, being an Attorney General, is an incredibly expensive ring, and yes, Sean and Gus jump on the case. One of the funniest parts about this was at the very beginning when Sean tries desperately to get on the case. I love the early seasons because he doesn't have all that access yet to the police station. He doesn't have the trust of everybody. Lassie still completely hates his guts. Jules still finds him repulsive yet attractive a little bit, but he doesn't have a ton of access. And so when the chief hands him his case and then he's just like, the maid did it real quick just to try and get on the ring case and stuff. One of the funniest scenes and my favorite interaction with Chief Vic to this point, from the first two episodes. Quite a few really funny parts in this episode, but the lack of access that he has and the doubt that everybody has about him is so wonderful. It makes the episode so much greater, and it's something that gets lost in the later seasons, I think. I'm a fan of every single episode, but I loved when he was younger, when him and Gus were having to jump over more hurdles to get cases, where as you go into the later seasons, they just grab whatever cases they can almost immediately. This is the time in the show where, they had to work for it. They had to work a whole lot harder for it as they're still establishing character backstory and everything like that. Now, this season also has one of my all-time favorite scenes, and that, of course, is when Sean talks to the lady at the front desk who is a believer. I wish they had kept her around as a recurring character, as she doesn't come around much more anymore. But when the way he convinces her of how he's talking to her dead relative and now he's able to do all this, it's one of the funniest scenes and the first time that Sean really shows you his power of manipulation, I think. Obviously, he does it in all of the episodes. That's what the show's about. But right here, you really see him dig in deep. And the lady's genuine care and love that he's able to do this was both hilarious and heartfelt. This is a show that's a comedy, of course. But let's be honest. Every psycho knows that there are tons of heartfelt moments in this show. And I thought this was one of the first ones. So anyway, Sean, of course, gets into the interrogation room, gets invited to the wedding. He ends up hosting the bachelor party as they're looking for the best man. Multiple murders continue to happen, as is Psych. I mean, it's Santa Barbara, so there's murders coming around. But there were very few parts of this episode that I didn't like. The biggest plot hole, I would say, was how easy it was for Sean to get into the police station and gain all of that access, although later on in the episode where he's convincing the guy at the hotel that he needs access to the entire hotel, otherwise his entire thing could go down in a blaze, as he says, and freaks the security guard out. Mentioning Chief Vic once again, when they were in the hotel, this is the first time you kind of see Chief Vic let her guard down a little bit and show that she's gonna be an ally to Sean. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of still building of characters in this episode. And I think one of the biggest moments of this episode is something that you may not have even caught on to, and it was a very small, minor bit part, but it's when Chief Vic catches them in the hotel and talks to them about not doing anything, not having access, staying away from the case. But then Sean kind of begs a little bit, and she slyly, says, investigate without saying investigate. So it kind of is that moment where you see that Chief Vic is going to be an ally and not a step in the way of Sean. Because early in these episodes, we really didn't know who's going to help Sean and Gus, who's going to be on their side, who's going to be a big hindrance to them. And up until that point, Chief Vic, you really didn't know too much. But in that moment right there, I think she really showed that I'm going to help these guys, even though I'm bound, obviously, by the commissioner and everybody else and a lot more rules than everybody else. She's still willing to work with them. Lassiter, of course, has rented a lavish hotel room, one that he will be paying for, that they made perfectly clear since the government decided that, he's not staying in a 5-star hotel on their dime. And Sean and Gus, of course, break into there, and in one of their first acts of defiance against Lassiter, throw a bachelor party, have some room service, and just about everything else you could do to someone who rented a hotel room. As someone who travels a lot, I can tell you right now, that would drive me crazy. An absolutely hilarious scene. There weren't many plot holes in this episode, despite the fact that, one recurring plot hole is the amount of access that Sean ultimately gets in just about every place he goes. Most hotels are not going to allow you to just get into one of these nice suite rooms by making up a name and a fake story. And his access in the police station, why countless people are just paying him no attention while he's in street clothes, running around looking at files on people's desks. Those would probably be the two biggest plot holes of the episode. As, the hotel stuff, you're not getting in without ID. You're not getting in with all that stuff. And they're definitely not just going to believe that you are a massive, a chief of police. So, that would be obviously one big plot hole, and then the other one being his access at the police station. As someone who's visited a couple of police stations on a visit, not in holding, but as someone who has been there, someone running around the police station in plain clothes looking at stuff and files in particular on people's desks, just not going to happen. Those would be the two biggest plot holes, but all in all, this was a pretty straightforward episode. This was a pretty straightforward crime of the week type deal, which is what Psych was really feeling itself out to be. At this point in time, I don't think they really knew what the show was going to be, who was even going to stick around. I know Buzz was really supposed to be a bit character and then added in as a major character. Same with a lot of people. So they were really still feeling themselves out here, but give the writers a lot of credit. Not too many plot holes in this besides the believability that you have to suspend in order to enjoy the show itself. So kudos to the writers on that one. But now we're going to move on to the I Know You Know segment, which these are the actors that were involved in the show. As everyone knows, Psych is full of guest actors. And, a lot of these actors and actresses are very famous Canadian actors and actresses or from old school pop culture references. As someone who watched TV in the 80s and 90s, quite familiar with a lot of these people. A lot of you guys may have absolutely no clue who some of these people were. Like the fact that some of his greatest arch villains are some of the biggest teenage heartthrobs of the 80s. That's kind of one recurring theme. But on this episode, there's a couple of guest actors, and one that I know 99.9% of you will know, and 100% of the women will know. But the guest actors and actresses in this would be Tom Butler, Gina Holden, and Diego Klattenhoff. Now, Gina Holden you might recognize from a couple of different TV shows. She's a famous Canadian actress, and she was phenomenal in this. Her flirting with Sean was incredible. Like, it was absolutely phenomenal. I loved it when Sean talks about how she wears a lot of hats and he'd love to see her closet. That banter back and forth was just absolutely beautiful. But the main guest actor of this show is someone that I know a lot of you are very familiar with, and that would be Tom Butler. Now, you may not know the name Tom Butler, but I know most of you have seen the movie Mean Girls, and this, of course, is Shane Oman from Mean Girls. He makes the appearance as the husband who does not want the ring, but he does a great job in this. He didn't speak much in Mean Girls. He stood naked in a projection room and he made out with a couple of girls. But that's really what Shane was, besides agreeing with Regina George the entire time. That's really what he was in Mean Girls. But in this, he really gets to show that he can't act, and he does a wonderful job. I thought it was excellent, and those small little cameos are awesome. Now, obviously, at the beginning, it's like they're throwing in some references. I think they're trying to, in this first season, bring in some more recent names as opposed to a lot of the people from the 80s you'll see later on in this show as guest occurrences. But this was a great way to pull in some casual viewers. Mean Girls was not near as old when this first came out, and so a lot of people were very familiar with him, and I thought it was a great casting call as he played the perfect kind of stuck-up guy, but the guy that didn't really want the money, but it was nice to see him actually talk some. But those were the three main guest actors in this show, as this episode really revolved mostly around Sean, Gus, and Lassie. So Psychos, are you a fan of delicious flavor? Well, every week on Instagram, we ask people to tell you where the pineapple is in the specific episode that we're talking about this week. The fastest person to reply with the correct answer and share it, we'll announce it on the show. And so obviously we'll ask you guys this week, where is the pineapple? As everyone knows, there's a pineapple in every single episode. And the winner this week is Naomi Opper Horton Vienna. And, of course, the pineapple in Season 1, Episode 3 is in the fruit platter at the bachelorette party. It is a sliced pineapple. It is not a full pineapple, but at the bachelorette party, you can find the pineapple in the fruit platter. So there is your hidden pineapple, and congratulations to Naomi Opper Horton Vienna. Great job. Y'all, that's going to wrap up our coverage of Season 1, Episode 3, Speak Now or Forever Hold Your Peace. One of my favorite Psych episodes. It was a little predictive that the woman flirting with Sean from the very beginning, the woman wearing many hats, quote unquote, was also wearing the hat of a thief. So, they kind of tipped their hat a little bit on who the killer of the week is, so to speak. But that's something that Psych does all the time. You can find those little hidden things in there in just about every single episode. But all in all, an absolutely incredible episode of Psych. One that I was surprised got pretty low reviews at the time, but has become one of my favorites as it really shows the guys coming into their own. And it really shows the bit characters growing quite a bit. As Sean and Gus, you knew what you were getting right away. You were getting that funny, quirky banter, and they were going to solve a crime. Maggie Lawson, Timothy Ormanson, Kirsten Nelson, their characters, they had to flesh those out. And in this episode, I think you saw a lot of growth in all of them. Watching it back from knowing how it ends to now, it's incredible to see the relationships and how they developed from Season 1, Episode 3, all the way to the very end when Timothy slams that computer shut before he hears what he doesn't want to hear. Really loved this episode. Major character development for Kirsten. I think this shows when she finally is going to be a part of the team and not that hurdle, as I said before. But a phenomenal episode of Psych. Not as, probably a little disappointing to fans since they were coming off of just watching the Spelling Bee episode, which is honestly one of my all-time favorite episodes outside of American Dreams. But Speak Now and Forever Hold Your Peace, phenomenal Psych episode. You can't go wrong. And of course, who doesn't want to know about Mr. Pickles? But thanks everybody for tuning in to episode 3 of Psyched. It's been a pleasure to be your guest host, and I will be reviewing a couple other episodes every single season. So I look forward to talking to all of you psychos here in the next few months. Take it easy, and I'll see you guys soon. And remember, just because you put syrup on something, don't make it pancakes.